Okay, we're on, Joey. You know?
Big sign.
Yeah, they see that. Like he's stuck in barbed wire.
Okay, today is August 13, 2018, the Village of Stryker, regular council meeting at 6 p.m. Tonight, opening us in prayer is Gary Stookie. Let's try that again. Tonight, in prayer, leading us off is Gary Stookie, pastor of Pine Grove Mennonite Church. Mr. Stookie, all yours.
Lord God, it is a privilege to meet with you tonight, and we gather in your name. Lord, we pray for our city, for the well-being of our city and our community. Help us to work together and to increase that well-being. Lord, tonight I pray for wisdom and discernment for the council members as they gather, as they discuss issues. I pray that they would hear from you and you would give them clear direction. For others who have gathered here tonight, Lord, I pray that as we bring issues to you, that you too, along with council, would hear and be present. Go before us, lead us. We need you in our lives. We thank you for this moment. We pray in Jesus' name, amen.
And leading in the pledge tonight is Mr. Don Carroll, a Navy veteran. Mr. Carroll?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you both. And roll call.
Blevins?
Yes.
Oberlin?
Yes.
Armstrong?
Yeah.
Tompkins?
Yes.
Cameron? Here. Benner?
Here.
I wasn't. It's all good.
In the packet, you should have had your prior minutes dated 7/9 of 18. Is there a motion to accept the minutes as published? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any comments prior to approval or vote? Roll call.
Oberlin?
Yes.
Armstrong?
Yeah.
Tompkins?
Yes.
Cameron? Yes. Benner?
Yes.
Blevins?
Yes.
In the packet, you should have had the finance report as of 8/10/2018. Is there a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to accept the financial report. 8, 10, 8.
And a second?
I'll second. Second.
And Beth, before approving, do you have any comments that you would like to share with council over the finance report?
Well, just if you have any questions on anything. Open.
Any questions for Beth? Okay, roll call.
Armstrong?
Yes.
Tompkins?
Yes.
Cameron?
Yes.
Benner?
Yes.
Blevins?
Yes.
Oberlin?
Yes.
Puts us into communication. I'm going to jump over to Heritage Council. I know there was some communication things that you were looking at. So, which one wants it? I know it's kind of a jump between citizens and communication. but-
That's all right. What I'll do, I just pass these around. Or you could pass them around, please. What we're doing, and this is for the press, just wanted to come up so that we could brief you all, since the building is yours and you rent it to us. We really appreciate that again, as I think I mentioned earlier in the year. But we do have some things coming up. We meet the second Thursday of the month. We'd love to see some people come on up, visit us. We need trustees, we need video, audio help, etc. So we've got openings. And not that we just put you right to work, but we do have some things planned. The 18th, the building will be open that day from 2 to 4 maybe. And the Heritage Day, we're going to have the building open from probably 11 to 4, or whatever. If somebody wants in and wants in longer, we'll have it open. It's interesting to come and see what's been done since the village left the building and this sort of thing, because there's so many new displays and stuff in there. Please come up and take a look. For the Heritage Days, let Sue talk about that in a little bit. We have the forms for the parade, and we also have the author of Little Port in the Cornfield. It's a book about Evansport, and it's a good book. I read it and enjoyed it. It's very, very interesting. It's history, but she puts a little spin on some of the history, so it kind of holds your interest a little bit too. She's going to be here to sign books that day. She'll be signing books down at the library and at Defiance, at Fort Defiance Antiques. Basically, we appreciate what you're doing. We're still looking for somebody that could help us tear up, put in place, and put the bricks down that are sitting there. And one favor I have to ask is, before Heritage Day, if we could cover those again. That's covering off, and I'm sorry for that. We haven't moved on it, but if you could cover them again, that'd be great. We've talked about moving them down to the west end. My only fear with that is it's some of them, kids or adults, whoever, digs into them now once in a while, and I'm afraid down there it's easier to do because the building would block them. Not that any of our children would do anything, but so any questions for us anytime about the building, please call any of the trustees. And Sue can tell you what she's got ready for the parade.
Put together, and I'm going to leave some with front desk here, the entry forms for the parade. And it's the only thing that really has changed from the other years than when we've had it is the time. The parade's at 5, and we're going to have people start lining up at 4, and it'll still be down at the parking lot at Jagger Cone. And what we do with this is just, it's not necessary to pre-register, but we like to have Bill Priest, we're hoping, will announce the parade again. And he likes to have a little bit of background of what's coming through so he can, put a little spin on it too. And this helps. And if we haven't done ahead of time, it just helps in lining things up. If they come and they show up that day for the parade and don't have it done, it's not a big deal. We get them lined up and then we get the forms filled out. But it does help us kind of run things a little smoother with it being filled out ahead of time. So any of our ads that we've put out, I've said that this is available on our website, on Facebook, and then I told them that there would be some here at the town hall for them to pick up. So I don't know who I did. So if you want to hand it back to Beth.
I got a running list started.
Okay,
What do
good.
you of people that I can give these to?
Okay, good.
Is it a problem that if, like, the summer rec, I don't know if we could probably contain all the kids from 4 to 5, is that all right if we, like, towards the end of the parade, or like at 4:30?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have an adult come down,
Yeah.
and we'll get you figured out where we'll line you up, so then when kids start coming, we can say, you're down there in that slot, and we can, but as long as they're there before it starts at 5, yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah,
That's
I was gonna say, because Brent Frail is gonna do like a little pull on, and I gotta let all the coaches know so they can announce it to all the kids, and like
Yep.
I said, I prefer it closer to the time of the parade.
And that's not a problem. If you, like I said, if you just send somebody down, we'll get your spot, and then we can direct everybody that way. We do that with sometimes the antique tractors, the guys, they kind of straggle in, but if we get one there, when they come in, they say they're with the antique tractors, we say, okay, you're over there, and we don't have to mess around with it.
I'll let Brent know you're down at 4, and then.
Okay.
So I guess a question for both of you, and I pretty much know the answer, but I want to put it out for the paper as well as on the video. You talk about those bricks. Can you talk a little bit more about where those bricks came from? Are they just things that came from the store, or what's significant about the bricks, and where do you want them? We know we need help putting them down. Tearing up is probably an easy portion of it. but someone with the knowledge to go through and lay them.
Right.
We know there's some help there, so could you talk about those bricks just a little bit?
They started they started out when they started tearing out sidewalks and replacing sidewalks, and when they started digging down, they found where the old brick sidewalks were. And so someone said, is that something that Historical Society would be interested in? And we said yes, and so then they were piled there for a while. Jason stored them for us over here for a while because we weren't sure what we were gonna do with them, and then he needed the space, so they came back down to the depot. And that's where we're at, Joe, is to try to find somebody. We had a professional or, a commercial come in and give us an estimate of what it would cost to lay them, to level things and lay it. And it was just out of our budget. There was no way that we were going to do that. So we've talked about whether we put on a campaign and do a fundraiser and then go that route with the commercial person laying them that knows what they're doing, or if we had a couple people who were experienced in laying bricks that could be the generals and tell everybody else what to do, kind of oversee the project. We've got people who can help do the work, but we just don't have the expertise of knowing how to get everything leveled and.
And some of these, I believe you said, Stryker on them, like from the Stryker tile
Yeah,
yard.
there's
and
a
this sort of-
very, very few, but yes, there are
There's
some.
few.
Yeah.
But overall, the bricks came from here.
Yes, yes,
They came
definitely.
from here, and we want to put them, we're thinking now the west end, that's the baggage end, because there's not tons of them to do, all around or anything, so we'd like to make that, then park the baggage cart that we got back there and this sort of thing, so that's,
So if someone has experience, we would love to
yeah,
tap into that.
yeah.
Because originally, when the depot was a working depot, there was a platform that went clear out to the railroad. I mean, it went all the way around the side and all the way out to the railroad. Now, I don't know whether that was brick, but it might have been even cement slabs or wood at one time. And so old pictures, we're just kind of trying to make sure it stays historically correct with the building.
And we're still working on the lighting in there, to get that more historic. That's, there again, that's a sizable number.
Right.
The village needs to put in their budget.
Slide that in there.
That is slide.
Okay. Anything, and I know I did that on communication, and I felt that one was definitely under that. Anything else for council or to be put out there?
See some of that gets in. Appreciate it.
Okay, that leads us into the Good Neighbor Award. That was something that was thrown into packets. We had some applicants submitted. Those were turned in and voted on, and that will be discussed later. We don't want to share the surprise. That person will learn of that here in the near future, and then they will be awarded that plaque and a small speech on the 25th during Heritage Day. The next thing that we have up is a proclamation honoring the 100th anniversary of the American Legion. I struggled opening today with Stryker Village. I'm going to try and read this without struggling. The proclamation honoring the 100th anniversary of the end of the First World War and the founding of the American Legion. November 11, 2018 marks the 100th anniversary of the end of the First World War and establishment of the American Legion and the Yankee Memorial American Legion Post 60. And many of those who fought in France wish to establish a veterans organization based upon 4 pillars of Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation, National Security, Americanism, and Children and Youth. And First World War veterans met in Paris, France, on March 15, 1919, through March 17, 1919, for the first caucus of the American Legion on November 10th through November 12th, 1919, for the first National Convention of the American Legion in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The American Legion has been instrumental in the establishment of the Department of Veterans Affairs, the passage of the GI Bill of Rights, and many programs that benefit veterans and youth. The period between November 11, 2018 and November 11, 2019 is designated as a year of celebration for the establishment of the American Legion. The Yankee Memorial American Legion Post 60 was founded by First World War veterans of our community, being chartered in 1919 and has faithfully served our community by providing programs that foster patriotism, respect for our flag and recognition of the sacrifices made by our veteran community. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the mayor and the council for the village of Stryker, who recognizes and honors the sacrifices made by those who served in the First World War and the 100th birthday of the American Legion, and its continued support and contributions to our community. It will be signed and sealed this 13th day of August 2018. Pretty impressive. The struggles and the commitment that those veterans had is truly amazing. Truly amazing. So, as
I just want to add just a couple things. Is that all right?
absolutely.
Okay. August 11th is the day of the charter of 1919 in Stryker. Some of the posts in the county are different days, maybe clear back to November, December, whatever. Ours was in August. We are planning, since it's on a Sunday, we are planning to have our centennial on August 10th, which is a Saturday. I just want to let everybody know that for next August. And we will have a number of activities going on. We're going to try to contact as many families that we can that are on the charter, and I have to go to Brian and go to the library and look up the rest of the people who were veterans in Springfield Township and Stryker that were World War I, and we'll get all the names, and we'll get it put on a poster board or whatever, so everybody comes in can know who actually served at that time and came back and not only started the post, but we're still World War I veterans. And that's the most important thing, is we want to try to include everybody, not just post members. It's not all about us, it's about all veterans, in Springfield Township and in Stryker. So that's what we're trying to do, and then hopefully we'll have a dinner. We've got some great speakers coming. I think Mr. Latta hasn't put it in stone yet, but he's very interested in coming. And our honorable mayor, I talked to him already about coming up and saying a few words for us, and our county commander will be there. So it's just to give you a foundation of what we're working on, and we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great day, and hope to have a great dinner and maybe some music later on and have a good time. So that's where we're at on that.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Welcome.
That leads us into the citizens. I'm going to start here on our right-hand side. Mr. McCall?
Yes, well, I'm the flag person in town, keep the flags flying and keep them repaired. And I think it's been at least 2 years since we had any financing. The Legion gave a little bit, but they're starting to show wear and fade, and I thought if we could get, let's see here, we fly about 28 flags, and I wanted 30 of them because 2 for spares. They're $10 a piece, and we fly the 2x3s because we get our money's worth. They're not snagged up on the posts and stuff. These will be the top of the line nylons again, and with shipping and everything, it comes to $318.75, and that's just about cost.
What we do with that, I think, just as in the past, and you might be able to jump in with me on this one. I believe what you do is you give them the bill, or we make a donation, but if you would get with Beth on that, then we'll do just like we have in the past year.
I think the last one I had to go around and over big.
Yeah.
Because usually Chamber of Commerce makes something else. And of course, if you break a post, that's not included in there. They want right now for a fiberglass pole, $10, and it sells for about $18. So it's a heavy item, so you pay dearly on the shipping, and you just can't buy one. You got to buy at least a dozen to keep the cost down.
So
and there are little incidentals, that go to like those aluminum holders out there. They want $11 for them now, and we're charging $6. So things like that aren't including in that, but you see that we put probably 4 new ones up there. They were beyond repair, but that's what we've been doing. Once I might see them down for maybe even a month, well, they're getting gone over and repaired, and usually there's not much going on in that month.
Okay.
So
Yeah, with that, get with Beth on that.
Okay.
The other question I would have for you, when are you looking at having those replaced? Will they be?
Well, I'd like to have them up for the festival.
Okay, perfect. That was kind of what I was going to do.
That's what I wouldn't do.
Okay, perfect. Yep, just get with Beth.
All right,
on
Do
that.
you have an actual invoice?
Well, I can
Can you make me an
I can
invoice?
make you.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right,
All right.
God bless you.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. St. John, are you with this group?
I'm with this group.
Okay. So out of that group, what I will kind of say with that is, let me find my paper. If it's concerning the fire department and discussion of finances, which we won't talk about that tonight, what has happened is, I believe both the attorneys are here. We've already scheduled, or there's some scheduling going on at a time and a place to do that. And that's going to be done with the mediator specializing in this type of thing. Because we both know there's one side and there's another side. And it's not something that we're going to solve overnight, so we're seeking that outside help with that. Other than that, if you guys have something, more than welcome. But if it's to discuss the financing side, we're going to hold off on that because we already have something set up.
I have a question. Mayor, so you've got a mediation set. Now, will the entire council get to hear what had happened? The reason why I'm here, and I spoke with Rachel, that I know a lot of the council, I don't think any of them really was here at the time, so there's a lot of history. And I thought it would be beneficial for them to at least know how we got to where we are at.
Everything is going to be based on the suggestion of both the attorneys, and then we will do it according to their recommendation. And in that is going to be facts, not just hearsay, it could be facts.
I thought, right.
I'm sorry?
No executive session today.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, we assumed we were on the agenda for
You were in-
executive session about
Not
this.
for an executive, because we're going to be discussing it in that mediation.
But why not have an executive tonight? Is there any reason why we can't do that?
Because based on what I have been
We would
advised.
prefer that. The mediation session is actually, we're gonna have a third-party neutral or mediator. So at that time, right now, we don't have that person here. And that person specializes in governmental conflicts, the interplay between different governmental entities. So we don't want to have that discussion without that third-party neutral. But there will be a time and place for us to do that. It's just not going to be tonight. Is that accurate? Okay.
The council will be present.
Yes, we're still discussing about exactly which parties are going to be there, or which parties need to be there, and whether it qualifies for an open public meeting or something like that. And that's actually also something that the third-party neutral would determine as to which parties or which members of which entities need to be there. So that will be we'll figure that out at that time too.
And that was one thing we had figured it might probably would lead to that. But our intent tonight was to just be able to sit and talk with the council and explain to the council and give them a little heads up as to where we're at this point. That was our thinking. I guess I understand where you're at. If that's the way you guys choose to go, that's.
I think the best use of everyone's time is if we do it with a mediator present, so that we can all, because otherwise we're just going to throw facts out today, and there's going to be no one to. It's just going to be sort of a throwing facts out. There's going to be no third party to mediate that. So I think if we can leave it to the mediator and to a mediation session, then I think we're all going to be in a better place.
One last question then. Since at that time, you folks came to me, I was a village administrator and worked with the solicitor. I think I provided a few notes on that to this solicitor or prosecutor. Will I be at the mediation then?
We're discussing that. That's gonna be something that and ultimately, the prosecutor and the village solicitor are the ones that we're kind of making the rules here. I mean, we're the ones that ultimately are gonna determine whether it's a good idea to file suit or not. So, we're discussing that, Gary, and I mean, the pertinent people will be with the mediation session.
I would think that would include me then.
But that's going to be up to them.
Yeah.
Whether what we think or what you
I would
think is
agree.
completely out of it is based on what they're recommending.
I'm on a time schedule though. You know, I'll be going back to Florida here. So however that works in your schedule or your budget.
From their side, they're going to do it at the pace that they see necessary. Whether that fits my schedule, your schedule, or anyone over there, it's going to be we're gonna run through it correctly. We're not just gonna sit and throw facts out. We sat and talked to them the other night, and we're still here, so we'll go this route.
And the mediation session is a no cost to the public, so it's a really good thing for government entities that have disputes between them. And I think when the pertinent parties can interact with each other, we can all throw our arguments out there and say, okay, this is why we believe that we're right, this is why we believe that we're right. And then the third party neutral can say, okay, there are strengths to your argument, there are weaknesses to your argument, and then hopefully meet a middle ground. So it's a much better way to resolve things than any sort of lawsuit or anything like that in court.
And the mediator will talk with both parties separately at the beginning to talk them and bring them together to control, I don't want to say environment, but it basically control the environment.
Yeah, I've been in
So
mediation.
so they will talk. I mean, I will make sure, I want them to hear, the council at that time. So I think that's important, and then, you obviously have your point, so. We, Mr. Hicks and I we've already had discussions with it with Katie, the prosecutor, and it's a referral process, so we'll get that going and get that in a timely fashion.
My only concern was that these folks here are brought up to speed completely. And that's,
All facts will be brought out for everyone.
The goal is to be as transparent as possible.
absolutely.
Okay, so I guess with that, you guys have anything other than?
Who would be the third party?
They will assign that person, so it's going to be someone that I'm not sure. They will assign a person, and if need be, there is a subject matter expert that will also, and I'm guessing someone that would be an expert in specifically public safety and smaller government entities. So if we need a subject matter expert to participate as well, but we don't know who the neutral will be at this point.
And this is specific for government conflict. So they're well-versed in the area, they are skilled, so I think it's...
Ms. Switchstoy brought a packet or some pamphlets that explain the process that might be beneficial for the council to read.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I brought enough.
If not, we can make copies.
Just so all the parties are understanding what we are proposing and
So it's a sit down to get more of it out. Okay. Anything further?
I guess the only thing I could ask you is if we move on this about, I think that's probably you guys can do it.
absolutely.
Yeah, we waited on the town 7 years, so there's no reason for this to go another 7 years. I mean, none of these council had been here. Joey was on the council, he knew what was kind of going on, but he went the other way, so we went 7 years with waiting. There's no reason for us to go another 7 years.
I don't want,
Yeah.
we can make that referral tomorrow. It's a very simple process, so we can do that.
Okay. I appreciate all three of you, yeah, maybe one. I appreciate you guys coming out as well as you all for us. So thank you. Okay. So with that puts us, let me go this one. So with that puts us into the committee reports. Are we going to discuss the records commission that we had prior to?
We can.
Okay.
We met at 5:30. Basically, me and Emily Clemens, the clerk, we've sorted out records according to what we
Went through what?
according to what we have already submitted to the Historical Society. We've already done an inventory in 2014 of all of the records that we had. We submitted them to the Historical Society for what we could get rid of. And tonight we met with, we did this one time back in 2015, and I had like 17 containers. I believe I have about probably 10 more. And I have the forms, and the record commission met and went over them, and I'll have the minutes that they approved those forms. And then we can schedule destruction of the records, which should be around $270 to $300 to have a shred truck come and have them destroyed. So, next meeting I'll have those minutes.
Okay, so those minutes will be coming. Old business, I don't know that we really had much activity last month over old business. And legislation, we did not have any there either, which turns us into the resolution. Actually, I put them in the right order. Village of Stryker Resolution 08 TAC 2018 TAC 05. Did everyone get a chance to take a look at that? That was basically looking for more. Many villages, many townships, going on in the county, they want more than just okay to do that. So is there a motion to pass, motion to approve?
I have it set up for suspend the rules.
You have it
but
suspend?
It's what you guys
Okay.
want to do.
Just- Okay, we can do the suspension and see how
Most
it
people
goes.
are doing it suspend, but if you want to do 3 readings, I think they're doing, if you oppose it,
We'll start with the first one, the suspend. Is there a motion to suspend the 3 readings of resolution number 08 TAC 2018 TAC 05?
Move to suspend the rules on resolution 082018.
Is there a second?
A second.
And a roll call?
Tompkins,
Yes.
Cameron,
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Lovett,
Yes.
Ogle,
Yes.
Armstrong.
Okay, is there a motion to pass resolution number 08 TAC 2018 TAC 05?
Well, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
If I can.
Okay.
And I don't even know if these can be answered, but how deep is it? I mean, they talk about how expansive it is, but how deep is this go?
That's where we're looking for more answers on what effect it's going to have. Can it sustain it for short term? I could answer that, but we have no true knowledge of that. It's something that we need more, we're requesting more information. Very similar, this is the exact, that others are doing as well, to get those answers.
And then, do we have any kind of studies on how long it's taking to refill what we already use?
There are certain studies out there. I believe there was one in the 80s, and I think there was another one, I don't remember what date. I think there was 2 that had some documentation. We'd love to be able to find one current. To what extent that takes to get that, we don't know. We just want to make sure that, or many people want to make sure that it's going to be able to take that type of
This
usage.
was tried in 2011 in Michigan,
So
in
there-
Nottoway County, and the test well wasn't a good draw, or wasn't feasibly possible then, so it was tried before by this company. So, I do know that, but they haven't done the test wells for this time yet. They're supposed to be going to do 3 test wells if permits are given.
So
And those
it's
test wells
about
are
getting
supposed to
information. We want to make sure that it's, or I say we, but people want to make sure that it's going to be sustainable. This isn't saying, no, we don't want you doing it at all. It's saying, we want information. So, with that, is there a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
And then roll call.
Cameron,
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Lovett,
Yes.
Overland,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yeah.
Tompkins.
Yes.
That leads us into ordinance 2018 TAC 03, and that's to revise the appropriations, looking to suspend and then pass. Is there a motion to suspend the 3 readings for ordinance number 2018 TAC 03?
I'll make a motion to suspend the ordinance number 2018-03.
A second. Second. Then roll call?
Lovett,
Yes.
Overland,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Tompkins,
Yes.
Cameron,
Yes.
Benner.
Yes.
Then looking for a motion to pass ordinance number 2018-03, and then after we get those two, then we'll open it for discussion. Is there a motion to pass?
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2018-3.
In a second? And then Beth, do you want to talk about any changes off of that?
Yeah, this is revised appropriations. Basically what I'm doing is I included that worksheet on the back with it in your packet so you could see is we got $1,000 donation. We got two $500 donations for the canine, one from the Bryan Eagles and one from the Montpelier Moose. So I'm adding that into the budget for them to be able to spend. And we also got a $500 donation from Stryker Chamber, which we are going to use for Heritage Days, for awards and the horse carriage and stuff like that. So it's just in putting that, it's increasing the general fund $1,500, the total budget $1,500, to be able to spend that donated money out.
Okay, any questions for her before we do the roll call? Roll call.
Armstrong?
Yeah.
Tompkins?
Yes.
Cameron?
Yes.
Benner?
Yes.
Levens?
Yes.
Overland?
Yes.
We just sent a village official.
East Curtis Street sidewalk project is near completion. Sidewalks have all been poured. There's a little dirt work to finish up and seeding. And that was done by Stephen Hour Construction. And I think it looks pretty good. We did a walkthrough and
Did a good job.
seems to look good. There's crack seal. West Curtis Street was done this past week. And also Southwest Depot past the water tower there, the fire department bus garage. So we're just trying to keep up on some of the pavement we have and make it hold together, so. There's one of the land bank homes on 213 West Church Street has been sold. So that is off our books and off our lawn maintenance. And the new owner is doing remodeling, construction. They're gonna gut it, and they've already started on it, so it's on its way.
Good.
That's about all I have. Anybody have any questions?
Anything for the administrator? Okay. Chief?
Well, I have noted here, pretty much our phase one is complete for replacing our computer system within the office. Things are running excellent. Windows 10 is a little, it's kind of an odd transition from 7. But, you know, a guy like me, if I can do it, anybody can. So, but yeah, it's going well. We haven't had, you know, really much of any issues. We have our new printer online and ready. It's working fantastic. And I'm, you know, again, still looking at options on what we want to actually do with the in-car computers, because we are going to have to be online with the e-ticket site or e-citation program by October 1st, as per the demand of the Bryan Municipal Court. So I don't see any issues on meeting that request / demand. So hopefully we'll get there. Let's see, going over the stats. 68 complaints since our last meeting. Had 8 traffic warnings, 2 citations, and 2 adult arrests. And
Like
that's
kind
it.
of a slow month.
It was a little slow. It wasn't bad.
Don't jinx it.
They all want to shake hands and start shooting each other.
I mean, considering, you know, we were in the 100s and the high 90s for 2 or 3 months, dropping down to 68, that's not too bad.
Any questions for Chief? Comments? Okay, thanks, Chief.
Actually,
Do you?
I don't know if it goes back to Al or if it goes to Steve. On Allison, where we have the 20-mile-an-hour speed zone for the blind pedestrian area, I noticed that one of the trees, if you come off of, you come out of the back part of the school and you turn on Allison coming back toward the main road, there's a tree that is pretty much blocking the blind pedestrian side. And there is no speed limit on that sign, but there is coming the other direction. So do we need to put one up there, or
The tree is blocking the sign.
just a little bit? It's not.
We take care of the trees that are in the right of way,
Okay.
so we will trim it back so it's accessible. As far as the speed limit sign, we'll take a look at it, and I'll let Steve see what he thinks too on speed limit sign, but we can put one there if necessary.
I'm thinking, coming up this fall with football games and things of that nature. I'm thinking about rerouting traffic, particularly after football games. I know you're gonna have issues with people coming out of R.D. Rex Drive and wanting to get back out on Defiance Street, with people exiting the parking lot onto Defiance Street. Obviously, if they're turning south, not a big deal, but if they're turning north, that traffic is gonna be heavily backed up on Allison Street. I'm looking for suggestions. What I'm thinking about doing is basically routing all traffic coming off of R.D. Rex to the west, and having them exit that parking lot exclusively, and we'll have an officer there to route traffic to the west. Nobody will be able to turn east onto West Allison Street. I just think that's going to be better for flow, getting people out of parking lots, getting them to where they need to go. I mean, if they come back up to the four-way stop, from Curtis Street up to Allison, good to go.
But that's a four-way stop, it'd
That's
be
four-way
better than
stop,
trying
and
to get them
traffic's
out.
gonna move.
Yeah.
So, we have a couple of options. Obviously, we can post an officer at Allison and Defiance, and stop. But there again, you're gonna have traffic backed up. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, is what I'm probably gonna end up doing. So, just letting you know that,
See how it goes after the first one.
right. So,
New warning curve for strike or Friday night football.
Yeah.
right.
Most people probably forget about it the first one.
They're not gonna forget.
Good. Glad you're thinking better. Okay, anything else for either Chief or Chief? That leads us into other. Does anyone have anything under other? That one?
What are we doing with those?
That one I can talk to on the side as well. I know Bonnie was looking at that as well. I have a couple things. We have an invitation. Toledo Edison's Gary Keys. There is 32 years of working are behind, has a retirement party. He's worked with the village for many years here, where he's been our point of contact. He's familiar. Not an everyday type conversation, but he is familiar with here. So we have an invitation for that. It is on August 24th from 4 to 8. He sent us that. Then the other thing that I have is the Stryker Heritage Days, and I know that the Heritage Council spoke about it a little bit. There are flyers out there. We did get confirmation. Other than what's on the flyer is there's going to be 3 different groups singing between 2 and 4. The Hillsdale Choir is coming down. They're going to perform for us, so I was pretty excited over that they're coming down to do that. The other thing I wanted to bring out is the carriage ride. That's coming. I can't think of the last time we had a horse and buggy come through town. It's been a while. So that's going to be coming to and from the depot. So a lot of activities. I know the fire department wasn't able to put this on, but with short notice, many people in the village stepped up, and even some of you sitting here stepped up to do a few things. It's going to be real exciting for the kids. That's the main thing, is many of the kids are going to have some activities, which I would need to speak with you about the Good Neighbor Award item. So those were the couple things that I had on the other. So I will start on my right side. Yeah, jump for joy. Start on my right side on any last items for. All right.
I could use a couple more chili cooks for the Heritage Day, the chili cook-off. If any people would like to cook, wonderful. You're on the list.
Did Martin Sherry contact you? I gave the cell number out to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tammy,
Yeah.
his girlfriend, got in touch with him, yes.
Okay.
So you need 2 more? Okay. 2 more people for the chili cook-off. Only 2 spots left. It's all on how you spend it. Call quick.
I have nothing.
Okay. Okay. All right. One last time?
Yes, our new truck arrived, snowplow, and we decided we're gonna enter it in the parade. And
Cool.
we have a driver.
Oh.
Well, we're gonna take the plow.
Yeah, they'll let me have a plower and the salt spreader.
Right behind the horses.
I might turn on the lights though.
Well, couldn't you put candy in the salt spreader?
She's
like
gonna throw,
swing it?
she's gonna throw candy.
I thought I would get some candy and have somebody throw some
She
on.
cannot drive and throw things.
No, I'm not going to. I have to have a side.
I'm the one that usually busts mailbox off, so.
Or maybe we could have the good neighbors sit in the back and
That's a possibility.
the village try.
There you go.
Throw candy out. I just thought of that.
Quick on your feet tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. The new truck's here.
Yep.
Okay.
We're waiting to use it until after that, so.
Yes,
We
please.
don't wanna put a scratch in it.
Yeah, I'm thinking, no, we don't want snow right now.
No, not for that.
Well, that's a pressure on me now.
Full of bumpers all around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Williams County Housing Study that Wedco did.
Oh, yes, thank you.
I forgot to give that to you. There's a
Yeah,
meeting on the.
I had an email on that
I
too.
know Patsy and I are representatives for Wedco. We were planning, they're having like a private kind of invitation to the board to go early to hear what it came out. I think we're gonna do that, and then I think she's staying for, that one's open to everyone. If you wanna know what the study said about housing and.
I want to say it was about a year
developers.
ago.
Yeah.
Or just over a year ago. Wedco was looking at doing some type of housing study. There is the projection of jobs in the area. It's quite nice, but the question is, where do these people come from and where are they going to live, if that's the case, of some of the upcoming jobs. So they wanted to do a little more research, have someone with some expertise go through and do a study. One was done many, many years ago. I don't remember what the date was, but looked at doing a new one. So August 22nd, they are going to release the findings from the housing study. And you guys are welcome. Get with Beth on that so she can respond back. I did get a comment on that as well, and I wanted to get with you on it. That is a Wednesday night, August 22nd. Looks like presentation starts at 6. So if you have interest, get with Beth, and then she will make that contact.
No, nothing, sorry.
Okay. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I'll second.
And roll call.
Nutter?
Yes.
Blevins?
Yes.
Overland?
Yes.
Armstrong?
Yes.
Tompkins?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
There were a couple notes from
Cameron.
And my other one was just on the desk about.